Welcome.
Yep.
We are live with episode 11 of the Dom Joseph podcast here with a remote guest from Lawrence, Kansas. We got Mike Leslie Jr. Mike, what is going on, man? We're brought to you by Skype today. I mean, not a sponsor, but me and you met when we were in high school. You know, it was through one of our buddies, and, you know, ever since then, we've been close friends since. But if I got to ask you one thing, who is Mike Leslie and what people should know about you? Where are you from? You know, what is it about you that people should know before we get right into the juice of this?
Well, I mean, there's a lot more to me than meets the eye. I'm kind of an Optimus Prime type character, you know. People just see me and they're like, "Oh, this dude is just tall. He probably doesn't even have a personality." But that's not true. You know, being from like Seattle area, I was there for 17 years. Predominantly grew up on the Muckleshoot Reservation. I was born in Federal Way. And then after I lived in Muckleshoot, when I was about 15, I came up north and lived in Tulalip with my dad because he got a new job up there at the tribe. And then that's when I met you and Rob, Darian, you know, all the bros, everyone. Shout out to everyone at Tulalip Heritage. Tina Brown was a big part of that. Marlon Freiberg was the coach. Bubba's always clutch. Santana Shotbell, just all kinds of really cool people like had a positive influence on me. And you know, of course, there's our brothers that have passed on. We can't forget about them. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be here where I am today if it wasn't for you guys and the experiences that brought me up and made me the man I am, you know, good or bad. You know, they all give us some ground to build from and some things to learn on. So
yeah, man,
yeah.
it's a great experience. Sorry to interrupt you there, but it's to see that the positive people that you have in your life, to look back at it now where you are now. You're 21 years old. You're 20 years old right now. And it's just shocking to see how much growth these people, even if it was just them saying, hey, you should do this, or hey, you should join the sports team, or hey, you know, you need to run an extra lap. It's definitely a positive impact that people have that people don't really go and see and seek out, really. A lot of people are kind of scared to seek out that figure in their life. You know, and I see, you know, throughout your high school, you were able to do that. And, you know, you coming from a lot of different schools, I know this just from being your friend. You know, you were at Auburn High School, you were at Heritage High School, and you're also at MP. And, you know, give me a walkthrough of what it was like to go through these many high schools and just the difference in between all of them.
Well, it wasn't just high schools, bro. Like, I've been moving frequently since I was, you know, as long as I can remember. I started off in Federal Way. And then a nice family, the Bartlett family, took me in, and my dad, and you know they helped raise me. First and second grade, I was at Mountain Meadow Elementary in Buckley, Washington, and you know all throughout elementary, I probably went to 3 or 4 different elementaries. Chinook Elementary on the Muckleshoot Res is where I met some lifelong friends. Shout out to Max Manley, Wyatt Corville, Donald Jerry, Anthony Moses. You know, just those guys are some great guys. And but no, middle school too. I mean, I went to 3 or 4 different middle schools: Yakima, Auburn, Enumclaw, Thunder Mountain, Olympic, Sela Intermediate, just all over the place, bro. But yeah, Auburn High School was my first high school, and my uncle and my auntie are also alma mater from there, so. Mm-hmm. They're a big part in the reason why I wanted to go there. My mom also went there for a time too, but she didn't graduate. The only one that graduated from there was my auntie. But yeah, so I mean, it was cool to go there for my freshman year, but it didn't work out like I wanted. And my dad had an opportunity up north, so that's when we came up to Tulalip Heritage, and you know, it was from the first day I got there, memories. So I'm very thankful that I made it my way up north.
Good and bad memories. Yeah, you know, Heritage is one of those special places. A lot of people, you know, they can experience, you know, Heritage life just walking on the reservation, and sometimes even in Marysville. You know, it's a pretty loving place, and then also it's a place where people can go and be really upset. You know, a lot of people have been sad there for a long time, and a lot of people have been happy there for a long time. It's just it's a big resource, and if you're going to use it the way you use it, that's just how it is. And that goes with anything. You could say that for Marysville too. There's good places and there's bad places. But
Oh yeah.
like you said, though, I want to go back to what you were saying in the beginning of the podcast. Some people look at you like you're this Optimus Prime guy, and you're this tall guy, and like you have no personality. But what is something that you want people to know that necessarily people don't really know about you? You're not bragging, you're not gloating about it, but what is something that you want people to know?
I mean, I'm a very polite person. Like, if you know me, it takes a lot for me to really get mad, especially in public. But I try to be a gentleman for women, and I try to be like a bro. I'll listen to you if you got problems. You can talk to me about anything. Reach out to me for any kind of I'm not claiming to be this all-knowing character, but I have some knowledge in certain things. So if you ever need advice, hit me up. But I mean, I'm always open to make new friends and meet new people. So if you see me in public, come say what's up, talk to me if you don't already know me. I mean, I know a lot of people, but I have a lot that I'm yet to meet. So, yeah, I mean, I love to go fishing, love to go hunting. I love music, all kinds of music. I've been listening to a lot of country lately, but rap's always what I grew up on. It's got a special place in my heart. Rock as well. New stuff, old stuff. Every time, I'm home, I just love to be around the ocean. I love the water. I love to go swimming. Outdoor stuff like hiking, swimming, cliff jumping, anything like that's right up my alley. So, I mean, those are some of the basics, but I focus on basketball. I've played sports in the past like football and baseball, but I was just all right. I wasn't the man or anything like that. So I gave those a shot, but basketball is definitely my main focus in my life right now. And I've worked a few jobs in the past, but I just got a new job as a server at a hibachi steakhouse here in Lawrence. So that's going to be a nice little gig for now, and just enjoy the summer and try to work hard in the gym.
Yeah, dude, that's basically all it is. And, to go back on what you said again, I picked it up what you said, you're not trying to be this tall preacher guy, like a lot of things people like to judge nowadays, like sometimes I'll be like, oh, you should do this, or this is what I would do. And people take it as, oh my God, you're trying to preach to me, you're lecturing me. It's like, dude, it's like, just because I'm offering you help or offering you ideas does not necessarily mean I'm like lecturing you. It's just like, I'm just saying, hey, this is what I would do. And a lot of people take that as, like you're victimizing them for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you're
exhausting.
not the say-all, end-all of the topic. It's just your 2 cents, and you can take it or leave it for what it is. That's what I do. That's what my dad told me. He said you can hear people's advice and you can hear them out, but that doesn't mean you have to listen to them. It's your life. So
yeah, it's exhausting to be, obviously being put down by in a place where you're trying to help someone. It doesn't get you anywhere, and that kind of goes into the idea of what I wanted to talk about mainly today is complaining. Like, I know I'm complaining about people who are complaining, but people who like to come at you, come to you and be like, man, Mike, I've had it so hard, man. The whole world's out to get me. And it's like, they don't realize that they're looking like a legit fool. Like, I'm sorry, dude, I'll listen to you all day, but I am not trying to hear how hard you've had it, because everybody has had everyone's had hard breaks, man. It's hard for me to feel bad for you. Like, I get it. Yeah.
I want to quote my guy, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky 5, the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. And, or no, it's not Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa when he's talking to his son. But, I mean, there's so many, first world problems in our life that we think, oh man, this is so hard, it's so detrimental, I'm never going to be able to get through this adversity. But there's people out there in the world with real problems, with real health issues, and they're living their lives with threats of death every day that they have to try to survive through, or whether it's trying to get a meal and for some kid in Africa, or it's someone in Syria trying to avoid getting hit by a bomb. I mean, it's crazy stuff going on. And just because Billy subtweeted you that he wants to talk to other girls, or like Aisha Curry, so sorry for you that guys don't try to hit you up all the time. Like, okay, your husband is the 2-time MVP of the league or whatever. He's like finals 3-time champion. Like, come on now, chill out. there's bigger fish to fry in the world.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I went to the ATM today and it had the audacity to ask me if I spoke English. Like, I had to press an extra button today. And it's like, dude, are you seriously complaining about it? And it's like, I think it comes from a selfish standpoint, too, because people expect just because you have a complaint, someone's willing to listen. Yes, there's people that are going to listen, but are they going to really, like, put in the forth of the action of caring about it? You know, like, yeah, maybe listening to you, but it's going out the other ear sometimes when people are coming into me saying, man, you don't get it. You've had it easy, Mike. It's like, whoa,
Yeah,
like,
for real.
It's like now you're coming at me when that. Anyways.
Well, it's because they act like we're. Sorry to interrupt. They act like we.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get it. We don't understand. Like, obviously, I can't understand what you go through in your own mind, but you don't get it and you don't understand me. So I have things, and I'm not sitting here complaining to you. But.
It's just people want something to complain about, and I'm guilty of this some days too, where I'm just like, why am I complaining? Like, what am I complaining about today?
No, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not guilty. You know, I try to be as low key and try to avoid doing those kind of things, but it happens. No one's perfect, so.
Yeah, and so personal experiences is something I have on here too, which is, I know you've gone through your share, of personal experiences, and I know you're out in college now, and like you said, you're from, Muckleshoot area, and that's from where you are now, that's a pretty far place. So give me a rundown of what Haskell's treating you like, or Lawrence, Kansas. What is Lawrence, Kansas for people who don't know? What should people know about the lifestyle there, and what you're about right now?
Well, I mean, you're 100% right, bro. 1,800 miles, I believe. I've made that drive, and I believe that is what it is, the distance from home to here. And it's definitely a culture shock when you first get here, but it's still America. I mean, it's just the Midwest. It's not like it's that much different. The only thing that's mainly different is the scenery. It's definitely pretty plain, and it has its own subtle beauty about it for sure. But, Kansas is more of a slow place, a quiet place for the most part, except for basketball season. Everyone's all crazy about their Jayhawks here. So, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoy how easy it is to live here. Like I said, there's no traffic like there is in Seattle, and Kansas City's 45 minutes away. So if I want to be in the city, I can. Unfortunately, I said I loved water and stuff earlier. There's not really much water around, but there's some lakes, even if they're a little bit brown and mucky. I mean, I could still get down with it. But I love, it's just a basketball culture here for KU, not only for KU, but just in general. I mean, there's the Lawrence Pavilion. It has 6 big full-size basketball courts in there that's open, basically 24/7. I mean, they're closed at nights, but it's free to go there if you live here in town. And they have a track, they got a weight room, but lately I've been trying to work on my physical shape and just trying to maintain, that kindness and be really kind to people down here, and it works out, man. I've made a lot of good friends and built a lot of relationships and connections here at Haskell, and I probably would have never came back if it wasn't for the people I've met. So, and I really the weather is kind of crazy, but it's not too bad. I mean, the winters here are cold, but they're more mild compared to Minnesota winters. I've been up there, and that's bad. But down here, it's mainly just ice, not so much snow. Then, there's a lot of storms, and of course there was a tornado warning today, but it didn't end up making its way to us, thankfully. So,
damn, thank God.
Yeah, for sure. But hands up, creator. But no, so in the summertime, it gets kind of humid, really humid at some points, and it'll get really hot, but I'm not complaining. I mean, it doesn't really very rarely will it get past 95, and that's hot, but it's not. There's pools around, and we have a pool here at Haskell at Coffin Complex that we can go use, and there's also a community Lawrence pool. I haven't been there, but I enjoy being able to swim where I can't touch the bottom. That's a pretty rare occurrence for me sometimes. So, but there's AC, and there's things that make it bearable. Definitely when it's too hot, but I enjoy the sun, and Lord knows I need some right now. I need to get a tan. So, I mean, I'm happy for this summer, and I'm excited. Summer school has been going well. It only started 2 days ago, but I enjoy my classes, and my classmates seem like cool people. I'm excited. It's a good opportunity to boost my GPA in a short time. So there's a lot of options that you can take for summer school here. You just think you hear, oh, Haskell Indian Nations University, that's just another tribal college. You know, they don't really have much to offer, but it is what you make it. And yeah, there's partying and there's sometimes bad things that go on here, but for the most part, it's really chill. It's really laid back. I mean, there's a lot of nice, cool people. We have a connection here at Haskell that I don't think many other schools can say they have. Of course, being all native, but we have a deep rooted history here, very rich in recent times. But back in the day, you know, it started out as Carlisle boarding school in 1884, I believe, and there was definitely some horrible things that happened here, and you can feel the energy when you come to our school. I mean, there's at the cultural center, there's a pair of child's handcuffs, you know, like you can go to the site where they used to have a jail cell for children. I think it was attached to Hiawatha Hall. But I mean, we've grown. We've definitely grown and forgotten that stuff. We haven't forgotten it, but we've gotten to the point where it's not traumatizing us, you know. So it's definitely become a positive place for learning and a great environment for anyone thinking about coming here. I go to school for free. As a matter of fact, I get the federal Pell Grant and I get Wichita Tribal Scholarship that gives me a little padding while I'm out here, so it ensures that I don't really have to have a job if I don't want to, but that's only in the fall and the spring. So in times like the summer is when I need to get a job. And I would love to be home right now, but I just need the credits and I need to boost my GPA. And like I said, it's a great environment for basketball and training. So it's a really great thing and positive atmosphere for me to be right now.
Hey, dude, you know, home's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a big thing a lot of people like to forget. You know, one of the big reasons I'm in college, you know, is one of that reasons is because, you know, I got to go work on myself. Like you said, that it's easy to train and it's easy to stay focused. You know, I saw my cousins Darian and Breland go off and play college basketball like you did at Tribes in North Dakota. And that was like, what am I doing? You know, what am I setting myself to do? And that was a big inspiration. You know, I'm not saying they were the only inspiration, but, you know, that's a big, cool thing to see someone in your family go and do it. And that's what, you know, makes me want to be out there and out here currently doing it. And, you know, I really want to hit on the point. You know, you said Haskell's like, you know, it's a social interaction that you feel like not a lot of schools have. And that is very true. And being Native American, both of us, we've come from big families, right? Mm-hmm. I'm guessing you come from a big family. You know, you have people coming in and out. You got drama going on. You got birthday parties. You got all this kind of stuff going on all the time. But as soon as that's taken away from you, you're sitting in a place of sorrow. You're sitting in places ancestors have been in of just, oh, my God, I'm alone. And in that situation, that's when you seek out these great people. In the place I'm at now at WSU, there's a Native Center, and it's one of the coolest places. It's one of the reasons I'm here. One of the biggest reasons I'm here, it has this connection of family, and when you could find that sense of family, I'm not saying you have to be Native American to find this family. Like, you know, there's Asian Pacific Islander, there's the African American Culture Center, there's the Asian Center. There's all these centers that are built for family for those people that aren't necessarily on their own, you know, to let them know they're not alone. Because I could sit in my apartment, Mike, I could come home after school and sit here and feel bad for myself and be like, wow, I have nobody I'm talking to, nobody's hitting me up today, and feel sad. Or I could go to the damn Native Center and talk to people, or go to the workout, or go to the pool, like you said, and interact with people. It's what you make it. It's exactly what you make it. And yes, WSU is one of the top known party schools in the country. Yes. If that's your route you want to go, there's nothing wrong with that. There's that route over there, and then there's also the simple route of what I like to do. You know, like, it's more simple. And that's the thing with college. A lot of people like to think just because the college you go to, like you said, oh, that's just Haskell, that's a tribal school. That's not necessarily what it is. It's what you make of it. You know, there's been geniuses that have come out of WSU. There's been dumbasses that have come out of WSU. And I guarantee you it's the same thing with Haskell. There's dumbasses that have dropped out. Not necessarily dumbasses because they dropped out, but because, you know, it wasn't for them. And it's just in both situations, it's what you make of what you're going to, not necessarily the logo or the mascot or the school. And that's a big thing. And I'm glad you said that. That's gets me going. It's just the routine of college is a thing that a lot of people like to confuse, because not every college student does the same thing every day.
Exactly. No, I mean, your body gets used to routine, and routine. Certain routines are very good. Certain habits are very good, but you can always develop bad habits. I know that from personal experience. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say that because I came here 2016. August was my first time delving into the Haskell experience, and I was fresh out of not having anyone, watching over me or being responsible for my actions. So, of course, many 18-year-olds in this circumstance would take advantage of certain opportunities, and not all of them are going to be positive. So, I partied a little bit, and I had my fun. I was at in this kind of phase has went on for, it was kind of like a lot my freshman year, but I slowed way down after about the first semester, and just recently though, I still here and there on rare occasions I would partake in extracurriculars, or like drinking, and sometimes I would smoke, but it's just like that. Those things are just way overrated and not worth it. Big distractions. It was March 13th or 14th was the last drink or hit or anything like that I had. So it's been quite a while. And honestly, having my mind clear and being sober is just one of the best. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's a life changer. I just totally regret even trying any of the things that I tried. And I just hope that my kids, when they grow up, they won't try the same things, my parents kind of kept me a little sheltered. I grew up with my dad, so my mom was still in my life, but not physically. She was in Minnesota with my sister.
Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like you kind of glitched out there for a second. I didn't hear the part where you repeat the part where you said your parents. Oh, actually, I think your audio probably picked it. Yeah, your parents.
Yeah. My parents, they kept me sheltered from a lot of things, but they weren't able to stop me physically from trying stuff, because I still knew what everything was. Growing up, pop culture and TV and stuff makes you curious by seeing certain things, and not all people have the willpower to stay away, and I did for a long time, but I fell into that, and I slipped, and we all slip and we all fall, but it's how you get up, and it's how you learn from those experiences.
Yeah, but here's the thing, you're saying you regret, but look, you're having this we're having this conversation not because of that, but you learn from it, and there's nothing wrong with doing those things and learning from it. And it's cool to see that you're like, man, it's been since that day I've seen this improvement out of, you could do that with anything. It could be out of a toxic relationship. It could be out of eating right. It could be out of working out more. As soon as you have that date. Yeah. Learning to play guitar, man. It's such an impactful moment, because I believe in a thing that Jocko Willink, he's a Navy SEAL guy. I listen to his podcast. Discipline creates freedom. And I 100% agree with that. That's why I set out to do the things I do every morning, and make a list and a schedule, because as soon as you're disciplined, you're like, all right, I did everything throughout the week. Now I can enjoy my weekend. And that's something I wrote down in our talking points, and working hard and experiencing the true kickback. And there's nothing better. So like going to football practice, right? I think I've used this analogy in podcast before. Going to football practice, having the shittiest practice, practice you hit, you ran, you got yelled at. But after those 2 hours, you're done, and it's the best feeling, because you're like, I did that. I went through that practice, and I'm done. And same principle is going to be applied to life. Damn, I had a hard-ass day at work today. Damn, I had a hard-ass day at school today. But I get to relax now. I could put my feet up on the counter, or whatever you want to put your feet up, have a cold drink, watch your favorite show. It just, the best things come out of discipline. I truly believe that. After a hard day's work, it's nothing better than just sitting back and relaxing.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, bro. Like when you sit around all day, sometimes it's nice for a lazy Sunday to happen, but when it's that there's work to be done, humans
Hmm.
were humans have always been genetically. I feel like we were nomadic. We were hunter gatherers from the start, and we're always on the move, always doing something. And in our culture today, there's a lot of sitting around and a lot of doing nothing, and that's why I feel like there's a large rise in depression as of late, because that has to be a major contributor. That we're not doing enough as a species, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too. But I've lately been trying to make sure that I'm always being productive in my life, and if I'm not being productive, at least try to visit with some of my family, or try to life's too short to just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, it's like we were like you fucking said. It's we're not meant to be sitting around like the guys who are fucking eating grapes and the fucking Greek shit and all the getting fat. Having people fan them. That's not what mankind's about, dude. We're about fucking being badass hunter and
Yeah,
gatherers, working
exactly.
for the state of being inspired by the great work of others and doing something. Like you're doing this college basketball thing, and then also you're also on SoundCloud rapping, you're also doing covers, you're learning an instrument, and that's a great thing to start doing. I started learning guitar 2016 summer after my friend Colin Zaku showed me. He was showing me all these cool things, and I was like, I want to do that. And then I came to Wazoo this year, and I wanted to learn piano. It's like musical tendencies and igniting an inspiration by great things. Kid Cudi is a big reason why I do, write the music I do and play the music I do. And what I want to ask is, where did your musical tendencies stem from? Did you have someone where you're like, I want to be like this person?
Yeah, that's a really cool story, bro. Like I'm really like you seem like you're really musically talented, and but it comes from hard work. So I'm happy for you. But no, my inspiration, I mean, it started when I was really young. Me and my dad would always jam out on road trips, and he'd play some classics. Like he always was an R&B guy and like classic rap and stuff. So he'd always put on, Key Sweat, Al Green. He had some Gap Band playing sometimes, and there was certain like Tupac, like California Love that would play, and just songs like that. But he always made sure and showed me like some Stained, and ACDC was a big one. I saw an ACDC concert when I was like 10 or 11. Um, one of my friends from Muckleshoot, his parents bought me that for Christmas, and that was just a big, like my first concert. That was a super amazing experience to see them live. It was their Black Ice tour. It was at the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, and I've seen a lot of rap concerts. I haven't seen a rock or a country concert since then, but I plan on going to see some country artists this summer, maybe some festivals up here in Kansas or somewhere or other. But no, I mean, ever since I was young, I've always loved music, and I've always had, like my mom, her and my sister, they got me into rap really hard, and also, the powwow circuit. I used to dance when I was really young. I used to grass dance, and just seeing those drums and hearing them, I always loved that. So I like powwow music sometimes, some Northern Cree. There's a drum group here at Haskell called Purple Rain. Shout out to Purple Rain. Those kind of Red Willow also from Minnesota. Shout out to Red Willow. Um, but no, I mean, I always love hearing music. It's like, would you rather have blank silence, or would you rather have colorful, beautiful sounds coming into your ears from the world? And I don't discriminate. I mean, if it's I got like one of my favorite songs is a Spanish song, only Spanish on there. So I mean, I don't discriminate, but I love all kinds of music, and the only kind of music that I really can't connect to is like that really hard rock, like heavy stuff, like certain heavy things like rock, or certain super hard like dubstep beats, or just like kind of house music. I can't really connect to that. But you know, I really want to be good at guitar, and maybe like sort of pick up the piano somewhere along the way. But right now, I got to focus on basketball and school that I got to take care of first. But
Yeah, it's a great thing. to do.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, I like what you said too, and a lot of people like to do this misconception of hating on music. It's like, and you said it perfectly, I don't connect with that music.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what it is. And like, to me, sometimes I don't connect with the country music, and it's not that I hate it. Like, I've obviously bobbed my head to country before, but there's some times where I'm just like, I can't connect to this song, or maybe I just haven't found the right song.
You're more of a city kid, you know, your whole life growing up. I mean, you know, the res is right there. I grew up along like on the country a lot, so that's why I feel like I connect a little bit more. But just because, you know, that doesn't mean that me and you are any different. We still bleed the same. Just because one person likes one type of music, I mean, if my homie likes screamo, then he's still my homie. I don't care. He can listen to what he wants. But don't if you got the aux in my car, I don't know, bro. I might have to unplug you if you put on some screamo. So.
The aux cords have like it's like I don't know what it is. It's like the bro codes or the codes of the aux. It's like, you know, don't be playing anything crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just I really enjoy music. Music has been a therapeutic thing for me. I listen to it when I'm sad. I listen to it when I'm, you know, having a great day. There's emotions that come with
Music's
it. You
great.
know, it's one of the senses.
It can make you laugh. It can make you cry. But you know, like just when we would drive around, sometimes I put on the hot dog song from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. You know, or when we drive through my neighborhood and put on Hell's Bells and act all hard.
We would just play the Hell's Bells part too.
The very beginning of the song.
Dung,
yeah.
Dung.
No, but one time at Heritage, I remember I thought it'd be hilarious because at lunchtime there'd be, you know, half of the gym, it was the lunchroom on one half and the gym on the other half, and we'd all be playing and shooting hoops, and they'd bring out the speaker system out for us to plug into the aux. So I thought it'd be funny to play Hot Dog over the aux, and I put it on. It played for about a good 50 seconds until Slick came and freaking turned it off. But no, it was a good time, man. That was hilarious. But that's just one of those instances where it can be funny. There's a hilarious song by Adam Sandler, phone, wallet, keys. Phone, wallet, keys. I need my phone, wallet, keys. So one's like, I keep that in my head sometimes. I use that in my real life. Like, hey, we all need our phone, wallet, and keys when we leave the house, right? So why not remember that one? So whenever I walk out the door, I don't forget stuff.
Yeah, I do the 3-tap. I go, you know, I just like.
Yeah, I do a 3-tap along with the phone, wallet, keys. So.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But, you know, to stay on the music topic, you know, from a person that has created music, how many hours do you put into just, you know, do you overthink it? Do you overthink the post-production? Is it the pre-production that gets you? What is the hardest part about creating it? You know, is it, you know, not trying to be someone you aren't? Is that a big thing when it comes to writing music for you? What is it? Walk me through you release a song. Walk me through it.
Okay. So are you talking about the whole process or?
Yeah, just give me a rundown of the process. You know, don't have to go in detail, or you can.
So lately I haven't put out a new rap song on SoundCloud in, you know, probably 5 months, 6 months. So I really lost interest in the rap, but it's not the music's fault. It's my fault. So I was in a bad place when I was making that music, and I would say things that I was really being someone I wasn't, and you know, a lot of the rap game is about flexing and just trying to stunt and talk about how many things you have, and just putting people down and putting things down, and I was just like, man, I'm not really, that's in real life, like, is that what I'm about? No, it's like on Benchwarmers. He's all, and that's what I'm not, that's what I'm not about. He's all.
Oh yeah, and that makes me a liar, and that's not what I'm about. Yeah. Not now, not ever.
Not ever. Yeah. So, no, I just kind of put that down, and I didn't do music for quite a while. But I mean, it was just like, I always kind of liked the way my voice sounded when I recorded it. So I was like, man, you know, I used to use the Rap Chat app back in high school and just kind of just freestyle over beats and record it on my phone. And man, I was like, man, that must not be hard to just find a beat and record a voice over and, you know, put it together. And I was like, what do I have to do? So my roommate last semester had a MacBook with GarageBand, and I had this little cheap PS4 mic that I would use to record. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something and see how it works out and see how it sounds. And long story short, I looked on YouTube on how to do it and taught myself how to make music through GarageBand. And just, it wasn't very hard because I would just go get instrumental beats from YouTube that were license free, copyright free, so that I could just put together my voice recordings with the music. The hardest part, I would say, was just editing the voice and making it all fit together and sound right. But once you get it down, man, it's really a cakewalk.
Yeah, dude, it's an art.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like a lot of people are like, oh, that, you know, like you said, it could be very simple. It could be as simple as writing, you know, or looking up on YouTube how to do it. And then it could also be learning musical theory, learning what notes go with good things. And it's one of those things it's easier to start, but it's harder to master. And like I guarantee you've gone to that part of, damn, you know, the production value of having a nicer studio. You know, yes, you don't need that stuff, but it's nice.
Oh yeah.
And I want to say to the same thing. I could connect to you with the same part what goes with podcasting. You know, I haven't, you know, wrote a rap before, but a lot of people in podcasting, a lot of things I like to stray away from is trying to talk like that isn't me. You know, a lot of people listen to this podcast, and, you know, I love that they listen to it because it's 100% me. This is everything you're hearing right now is, you know, not an act. It's not, you know,
Exactly.
maybe the intro is a little, you know, little radio hosty. But, you know, the thing is that I'm doing this because this is truly me. And I know people are able to connect with that, and they listen to it because it's me.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want to do is become this forefront motivation guy that just says these things and doesn't apply these things. If you want to see my life and you want to see what I'm doing exactly the things I'm telling you. You know, I get up early, I'm doing these things, and the reason I like to share it is because it's true. And as soon as it becomes the point where I'm not telling the truth and I'm doing this as like a get-rich-quick scheme, I haven't got paid a cent, you know, but that's why I'll stop. And, like, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like, why lie to people and why try to be in this game of, oh, this is me, when in reality it's not.
Yeah,
so,
because then it's your Harvey Two-Face. Yeah. Then you're living two lives.
Yeah.
You want to have, the goal is to have integrity.
Yeah, my number one goal when I set to have this podcast is because, you know, I went through many hard, you know, I've been through, I'm not saying I've had it the hardest, because there's definitely people who have had it a million times harder than me. But, you know, when I go through hard times, sometimes I don't have someone to reach out to that I would want to. Like, sometimes I don't want to tell people I'm having a relationship problem, so I would look up on YouTube on how to fix it, or I would listen to an hour-long podcast to try to get my mind off of it. And that's my main mission and my main goal for the Dominick Joseph podcast, is for kids to not feel alone when they're going through a hard time. And maybe when I pass on, when I'm older, when I'm like 90 years old and this is still in the archives of the internet somewhere, and my cousins or my, you know, kids can look at it and have that, you know, motivation, or have the ability to look and see what I went through and what helped me, is what keeps me going every day. And that, as long as I could stay true to that, my life will be, you know, perfect.
Dude, that's perfect. So remember remember when we talked about this? I had brought up that J. Cole quote. Remember that? I was like, it was from one of his songs. He says that he makes music so that when his heart quits beating, his music still will. And that's a big motivation, and that rings true. You know, our lives are a lot about enjoyment, but a lot of it's about what we leave behind for the generations to come.
Yeah, it's like, mark your legacy, leave your legacy, you know, and, you know, play for the front of your jersey like we were told in high school.
Yep.
You know, don't play for the back of it. You know, you're leaving a legacy behind. You know, you may not think that you're inspiring a lot of kids, but, you know, when there's people saying, oh man, you're out there going to school, you're out there eating right, you're out there working out, I kind of want to try that. As soon as that, you know, those little ones, or it doesn't have to be little ones, it could be people that are grown men, grown women, said, I'm going to try, you know, doing what you're trying. You know, they're may not be what I'm doing, but they're going to try to go for it. And that's the main message, you know, I love to get at people and just say, hey man, do what you want to do. That's exactly what, you know, life's about, doing what you love to do.
Exactly. Like I said, a lot of it is about enjoyment. And if you don't love what you're doing, you're never going to enjoy it. I mean, you can kind of have good days doing it and be like, this isn't so bad, but you want to feel fulfilled in what you're doing, and it makes your life worth living. It's after NFL players retire, a lot of them go bankrupt because they can't find something else that they love to do and that they have knowledge for. So you need to go out there and experience new things and swallow your pride and try new things that other people are doing. You don't need to try to be too cool. I mean, I just tried oysters today in Kansas, of all places, but I tried them and they were bomb. I loved them. And I was like, man, I used to be like, I'm never eating seafood in Kansas, but I tried, like, it was a trustworthy place. It was Jefferson's on Mass Street, so it was a nice restaurant. But, it was just like, I'm super happy I tried that thing, and I'll recommend it to other people now because I know it's good. And throughout life, I think we're all connected, and we all are meant to be sharing information, and we're just all here to grow up and thrive together.
Yeah, I love growing up and, figuring out what everyone likes to do. And, you learned an experience by going to there. Yeah, you probably didn't want to try the oysters in, Kansas, but we're spoiled over here on the Pacific Northwest. We have great seafood, and it makes you not want to do certain things.
Yeah.
And, I've been in that situation, like you said, where you're too prideful and you're too ego, where you have too much ego and you're like, I don't want to do that because I won't be good at it. Are you kidding? The people who do that are the fucking worst. I don't want to do that because I'm not good at it. Dude, get out there and try it. Do you think fucking Albert Einstein was good at math when he first started?
Yeah.
You think LeBron James was a natural born LeBron James? He became LeBron James,
Yeah, did the first light bulb flicker right as Thomas Edison put the film? Like, no. He got to go through 10,000 different filaments before he found out that cardboard was the one that would work. Or, certain things like... So it's just trial and error, and you can't be scared of failure. Michael Jordan's quote, I failed over and over again. That's why I succeed. All the game-winning shots he missed, he succeeds because he made the ones that counted when they counted, and that he's learned from all of his failures.
Yeah, man, it's a different lifestyle, in a lot of different places. A lot of people have different mindsets, and being from multiple places, you've had the luxury, and yet some people will say it's not a luxury to be moving around. But what are the differences you see from Washington, Kansas, and then even Minnesota? Because I know these are like the three main places you've probably lived in your life. What are the biggest differences between all of them? It could be through mindset. It could be through simple as weather. What are the biggest things for you?
Well, I mean, Washington, the weather's... It's the mildest weather out of all three of the places, I would say. Minnesota's harsh winters, and they get tornadoes up there on occasion, lots of thunderstorms. But there's also a lot of nice sunny days. It gets hot up there, it gets humid. And Minnesota and Kansas are both in the Midwest, so they're very similar. Both flat places, so they're both very similar climates. Minnesota's just more north, so that's why they get more snow. But... weather, that's that, but culturally, I would say, the conception Minnesota nice isn't always true. There's still racism out there, definitely, for sure. There's a lot of hate for Native Americans. There's a lot of broken treaties that took place up there, and still, when I worked for fisheries for the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe, DNR, and there would be people that were hating on what we were doing, and we were trying to help the walleye population because they're being overfished by sport fishermen. And there's just certain things like that happen. But Kansas, the people down here are nicer than they are up there, believe it or not. And the native people I've met in Minnesota, for the most part, are really cool.
Really?
I didn't really make many friends up there at all that weren't native because I wasn't hanging around, public places like that too much. I know the res is public, are public places, but I would just, if I was in the city or if I was at the mall, I was with my mom or I was with family. So, but Kansas, I've met a lot of really cool college KU students and Johnson County students and, grown people that are really cool and really nice down here. So, it's Kansas is pretty diverse. I mean, you can get to a lot of podunk, hillbilly places in Kansas where I'm sure like they have prejudice and there's things that you can't get away from it. Just like every place. I mean, you can go to.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere still, and we try to act like racism isn't a thing, but it definitely is. It's just out of sight, out of mind, because we distance ourselves from those things unless you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, the same thing goes for WSU. I've met fantastic people of all races over here. And then, there's also corners of the campus that you could tell that, certain people aren't welcome. And not to name, certain areas, but it's true. You could even go for white people. Sometimes white people, I feel like, get, criticized a little bit more, because they're always, everyone's out to get them. And don't get me wrong, everyone has, their fair share of blame. Yeah, but it's like, sometimes it's like everyone's just getting shit on. So we're all equally getting shit on, I feel like sometimes. Yeah. But, lately, obviously history, it was definitely different sides there. But, lately, it's always going to be there.
White people have a big target. I'm half white, so I'm saying I have a big target on my back being white. It's like even in our own native community, we're not as good as everyone else because we're half white. But at the same time, did we commit these terrible crimes against humanity that white people in the past have? No, hell no, we haven't. And for the most part, white people today are just mind their own business and are polite and will, help you just like you'd help them. And we all bleed the same, like I said before.
Yeah, it's like being in that weird situation where you're half native, half white is like, where's home? You could fit it in both because then you have tribal members or who are upset about that fact because you're able to do that and they get upset at that. And then you also have the white people who are like, oh, you're Indian, or you're Native, even for any, could go for black people, could go for Asian people.
Oh, do you get free money?
Anyone.
You get per cap?
Oh, yeah, their instant number one question. It's like, how much money do you make a year?
Yeah.
Well, I don't come out of the gate and ask you how much money you make.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, I get it. And some people want to know, but I'm like, I mean, yeah, this is what and then people start treating you differently. But then there's also some people who are just curious. And then if they're coming from a place of just actually inquiry, I don't mind. But if they're coming from it, like, it's just none of your business. I'm not asking you what you put on your sandwich in the morning. It's simple shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not asking if you still sleep with teddy bears at night. if you're still scared of the dark.
Yeah, you're just coming straight out of the get-go with these questions. And, living on your own and living on my own has taught me a shit ton of things, dude. And, adulting and that, the meme of adulting is a thing. And a lot of things have come from it. I've experienced a lot of things through relationships, whether that be romantically, friendship-wise, business-wise, school-wise. A whole bunch of things I've learned. Getting my own apartment has not been flowers and roses.
Oh, no.
There's obviously been, but it's mostly roses, and I want to hit on that. And it's been fantastic, and the minor things I've gone through are minor. But, it has definitely taught me to be more appreciative of, now I get it when my mom was like, yeah, you're under my rules, you're under my shit. It really comes to it. And also I've been blessed by my tribe taking care of me, and it's not been as hard as, I make it seem. But there's definitely been the hoops I've had to jump through to get to that point. And I wouldn't be here without my family and my ancestors behind me. But it's definitely, independence has taught me a lot of fucking crazy shit, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just the moment I wanted out, and I want you to, tell me your moment too after this. And it's just, I didn't want to settle for anything. And I'm not saying anyone back home is settling for anything because they're not, because everyone's doing their own race. And that's what it's about. You're staying in your own damn lane. And, I just wanted to switch my lane out here to Pullman. And, ever since doing that, leaving for college has been fantastic for me.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? What's been your experience, moving and going to college?
Well, growing up, I was raised by my dad. He was a single parent. From the time I was about 3 or 4, my mom and my sister moved to Minnesota, and my dad he was very loving, but at times he could be very firm and kind of a hard ass. And you know, it was always his way or the highway. And when I was about 17, I really wanted to do driver's ed and certain things, certain freedoms. You know, he still kind of a tad bit would treat me like I wasn't grown enough to do certain things. So I was like, man, I'm tired of this. You know, I need more freedom to try to get out and experience the real world more and not be under a firm hand so much. So, like I said, you know, that's what kind of caused me to fall off the wagon a little bit a few times, but it's not like it's live and learn. So I'm happy those things happen because I wouldn't be who I am without them. But definitely a slap in the face when you get truly alone at college by yourself. You know, it can be the best of times and it can be the worst of times. I'll tell you that. And when the storms come, you just got to weather the storms. You can't give up, or else that's when you're really going to get hit with the shit. When you give up and you say, this is too hard, people aren't going to take you serious. They're not going to have as much respect for you. The world isn't going to have as much respect for you if you can't do what other people do on a daily basis. If you can't handle yourself on this planet, then what are you going to do when no one's around to help you anymore?
Yeah, it's like, how do you get through your rough patches in life? And there's billions of ways to do it. You know, there's good ways to do it, like going to work out, and then there's bad ways of just sitting in your bathroom doing heroin. There's millions of ways to get through things in life, you know, and it's just how you choose them. And, you know, 90% of the world is how you react to things and at what path you choose. And that's a big thing to realize. And like you said, you know, a lot of this stems from when you're younger. You know, there's a lot of things that I'm dealing with as a 21-year-old male that happened to me when I was maybe 15 or maybe when I was 10 years old. And it's crazy to think that these things are still stemming with me when I'm in that pitfall of aloneness in college, because a lot of people, you know, oh, it's parties, it's, oh, you do this, oh, all you got to do is cheat on your test and then you can hang out all week, right, Dom? Haha. No, it's not like that. You know, there's totally different things that you got to do. And yeah, dude, the pitfall of aloneness is a definite thing. And being in a campus surrounded with 30,000 people, everyone's missing home. And this is a big app that a lot of people fucking have done to get away from it. Tinder's been a big thing that people, and don't get me wrong, I've met my ex on Tinder, but, you know, I've learned a lot of things from it. And, like, Tinder is a thing for people to get validation to feel less alone. And that's what I 100% think Tinder is nowadays. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely have dated on Tinder before, not proud of it. But, you know, like, I'm not going to say it was completely negative. The people I met were cool, but they weren't anyone, like, they weren't catches, you know, they weren't any 10 out of 10s. Like, that's why I'm not with them today, because usually the best way to meet people by far, not usually, best way by far is to meet in person and genuinely connect and have a conversation, and you get to feel each other out, you know, have a feel for each other and body language, and, you know, see about does this person smell good? Like, do they take care of themselves? Like, these are all things you can't tell over a camera, over a phone. You know, yeah, you can. The only thing you can tell over a phone is if someone can type sentences on their phone literally. Like, if they're not illiterate and if they, you know, seem nice. I mean, that's the only things you can tell. You can't tell if they're trustworthy or conniving or you know, backstabbing or just a thief. I mean, there's so many things you don't know about someone just based on their Tinder profile or Match.com or Plenty of Fish or whatever the outlet is that you use to try to meet people. So I, in the past couple years, have definitely been more attuned to trying to meet people in person.
It's just less of a headache too, and it's more of a Cinderella story too. Like, I would rather be like, yeah, we met in person at this place than
or are you gonna tell your grandkids, yeah, we met on this app called Tinder and it was all curtains from there. She seen my profile pic and man, she was in love. Like, no.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
there's love to be found on Tinder too. It's just kind of
corny, but there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I know that there's people out there that have gotten married from that, and there's Match.com's how many millions of marriages have been created by that. And if that's your route that you take and it works for you, good for you. But I'm talking about my personal opinion and my personal experience.
Yeah, you know, you get in that stage of, you know, just trying to find someone. And a lot of people do this in relationships. I've been guilty of this too, where you settle for not necessarily an ugly person or a bad person or a good person or anything, but you get to this point, you're like, I just want to feel wanted. And it's an empty place to be. And I could say that because I've been in there, you know, like, oh my God, is this me right now? Am I thinking clearly? Am I ready to be with this person mentally? And it's a big thing. And, you know, just people being alone has caused many things of hurtness. People have killed themselves over being alone, but it's okay to be alone. You're never alone, dude. I have a room. I could hear my, you know, neighbors. I could walk to campus. I could go to the rec. I could go outside and see someone walking their dog. You're not alone.
Hey,
you know.
I'm gonna take Drake's time or his line right now. What a time to be alive. It really is. I mean, people all throughout history until modern times, all they had was word of mouth. They had horseback and relaying messages and telegraphs, and then came phones at the early 20th century. But now we got instantaneous communication. Instantaneous.
Yeah.
We're having this conversation right now. How amazing is that? You know, if my great grandma was in here right now, she'd say, "Oh my word, that's amazing!" Like, she'd be like, "Back in my day, we didn't have that." So
wrote letters.
There's so many little things like that in life that we have to be thankful for.
Yeah, you know, it's just the balance of being grateful, and then, you know, we live in the least lonely generation. That's what they call it, you know, because we're the least lonely. We don't, you know, on paper we're the least lonely.
Yeah, but then there's so much
in
depression.
reality. Yeah, because, you know, I'm seeing people on Instagram and they're swans. I'm seeing people who are happy, and sometimes, dude, you gotta unfollow that. Be like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm going through shit in my life. I can't be looking at these swans right now.
Comparing yourself.
Yeah, it's just a race of who's got it better.
It's a brag
you know,
fest
generation.
at some
It's
points.
a brag
like we all know you're not always this happy in real life.
Yeah, it's like, why are you trying to front?
Like, I know I'm not always this happy in real life, but hey, I try to stay positive, and that's people's thinking is, you know, oh, no one wants to see a depressing page or a not positive post. Like, yeah, but this is real life. These are real things. Not everything in real life is going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yep, exactly. And you know, Mike, how, you know, a little off topic, but how do you experience your best life? You know, I know that's like the new catchy thing, but like, what is it that makes you really feel the happiest? And I know this may be a deep question. You can answer it deeply. You can answer it half-assedly, but best life-wise, you know, I look at it, you know, like, a lot of people struggle to find, you know, that true happiness or something that really gets them passionate. What is that, you know, thing that helps you?
Well, I really take pride in passion, and I gain a lot of love from, you know, when I just get my Pell money and I just go cash it out at the bank and I go to the strip club and just dump it on the strippers. One's all over. I get everything, bro.
You are so full of shit.
No, I'm proud to say I've never been to a strip club, so there's that. But seriously, this time, no. I think relationships and all the love.
You're a dork, man. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, all the love and the great experiences and memories that I have with my family and my friends are what keep me going, and I'm so excited to make memories like what we're doing right now. You know, we'll be able to look back on this podcast for years to come and be like, hey, look at us, you know, look at us. But no, I mean, I think it's all about the connections you make with people and the relationships and the fun times you have. That's my greatest joy in life. And accomplishments and financial gain are just a bonus, you know, like those are just goals that'll come with connections and with happiness and love from gaining, you know, meaningful relationships with people.
There's nothing more, you know, positive than meeting a cool group of people. Like when I came to Wazoo, you know, I had my set group of friends, and, you know, I kind of sat in this, you know, situation where I'm kind of cool with the people that I'm with, you know, and then I'm like, but what if they're busy and I want to hang out with other people? And that's what the Native Center has brought me, that sense of community and sense of other people to hang out with. And, you know, at first I didn't really want to come back here the next year. I wanted to go to UW and I wanted to go back home. But, you know, I said, you know what, I'm going to try to experience a little more out here, see the community and put myself out there, you know, and the Native Center did nothing but bring me in. And, you know, I'm going to have a job this summer. You know, I'll be working at a podcast workshop, and that's going to be fucking dope, man. And it's surrounded by Native people. That makes it even more intriguing. And it's just, that's how I experience my best life is, like you said, experiencing relationships and learning from them. Yes, there may be bad relationships, and you may get your tires, you know, slashed for some reason. I'm not saying I ever did, but I'm just saying, you know, some people go through hard things, but you learn about these type of things.
For sure.
And that's how you lived your best life, you know, through learnings and through teachings. And like I say all the time, seeking, you know, inspiration from the great work of others and saying, I want to do that. You know, I went to this Native graduation night the other week, and I only knew a couple people, like, just that were there. And like, just to see these other people graduate in front of me is inspiring. And, you know, before I didn't, there's a lot of times in my life where I know some people struggle with this too, where they don't really feel good about themselves sometimes, or they don't really congratulate themselves. You know, people will tell me, "Good, Dom, you're doing so good," and it doesn't hit me until I want to. It's like wanting to be sober. It doesn't happen until you want it to happen. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be happy for myself for the work I've done for these past 3 years. Yes, it's been a grueling 3 years, but I want to go and walk at my my college, and I'm going to walk on June 10th for my graduation, and I'm going to feel happy for myself when I'm up there. And, you know, it's a great thing, and how I'm going to experience it, that best part of my life.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing comes from that, too, is removing toxic people from your life, man. As hurtful as that sounds, it's what you got to do, you know?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it sucks because sometimes the most toxic people in your life are going to be some of the ones closest to you. Mm-hmm. Your best friends can also be your worst enemy. I mean, I've seen, you know, family do terrible things right in front of me, and not the most terrible, but pretty bad, you know, for, you know, drugs and alcohol purposes. And it's like, man, why you got to bring that in front of me? But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Thank you for letting me know that this is in the world. And usually when it's happened, they're always looking out and like, hey, even though I'm doing this, don't you ever do it. Like, okay, at least you do me the diligence of showing that amount of love to make sure that you reassure me, or to remind me that this isn't a good thing to do. But there also are those toxic people, and these are the worst kind that'll try to bring you down with them.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, like we just said, though. It's like, you know, it's hard to say this person is like the closest person in your life, and you have to say, dude, I can't hang out with you anymore. I'm sorry. That hurts you, hurts them. It puts you in a situation of, who am I going to hang out with now? You know? But sometimes it's got to be done, or at least you just got to set a boundary, dude. Hey, I don't do this. You don't do that. We're good. But if you do that again, I'm sorry, but I can't associate with you. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it could help you heal. It could help the other person heal, but it's just how you go about things. Or, you know, you don't even have to confront them. You could just kind of just step away gracefully. You don't have to end on a bad note, end on a good note. Just step away, be like, hey, I'm just working on me, doing my thing, you know?
Yep. Just, oh man, take everything, you know, that you see, and take it seriously, and just think. This is a great point. It's a simple point to make, but think before you act. Yeah. You can't just, you know, it's like monkey see, monkey do. It's not like if your friend jumps off a bridge, are you going to jump? No. Yep. You don't want to do that. You know, you don't want to succumb to peer pressure, or, you know, just because something looks cool, or just because some rapper glorifies it, doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. That's them trying to bring them with you. So you want to surround yourself with positive people that want to work out, and that want to eat good, and that want to, you know, go experience new things, and that aren't trapped in the cycle, whether it be alcoholism or drug use or just negativity in general. I've been guilty of falling in with the wrong people at times, and thankfully I haven't found myself, you know, getting into a big or, you know, a really bad, horrific incident, trouble, you know, like no life-changing things have happened from me falling in with these people. You know, I haven't gotten into any major legal trouble, but it's just like, even if you think it's irrelevant or won't matter in the future, certain experiences can change your life when you least expect it.
Yeah. Dude, I live by the rule, a 33% rule, surround yourself with 33% of people who have it worse than you, 33% of the people who have it the same as you, and 33% of the people that are, technically doing better than you. You could think that in money-wise, happiness-wise, however you want to think of it. And then you're the leftover percent. And it's taught me a lot of things, there's nothing cooler than hanging out with people that are up to something. When I'm at the Native Center, there's these people who are doing these internships and going across the country. There's this one girl in the there's this one girl in the Native Center who's doing an internship at the Smithsonian, and that's so fucking cool. That's just cool that person's able to share that and be like, I'm doing this. I'm like, whoa, like what do I need to do now? Or there's this other girl who's traveling abroad, and it's super cool. And I have my cousins who are fucking crabbing and shit. I got my cousins who are traveling. All these people are doing great things, and it's inspiring to be around people who are doing something.
Her project and stuff like that.
Auntie's doing something on a project. My other auntie, she's running her own business. My mom raised 2 kids on her own. That's inspiring. There's so many things that my mom and my auntie and my nana and my grandpa have done, and you
gotta take all the positive things, as many as possible. And even if someone's toxic or something, you notice something negative about them, just try to write that off and be like, well, here's what's good about them. Take the positive and try to implement that into your own way of living if you can.
Yeah, thinking of to beat the dead horse. My ex-relationship didn't work out, and I could look at the person and say, oh, this person was this, and this.
Yeah.
Or I could just think of the person, this person
showed me this.
We had amazing time. We learned a lot about each other. We learned that we weren't compatible.
Yeah.
And that's how I think of it. It's more exhausting to look at a person and be like, oh, fuck them. They fucking did me dirty.
Yeah.
You're putting the person who's
giving
listening there like,
gray
oh,
hair.
God. Yeah, you're giving yourself gray hair.
You're letting them win.
Yeah, so I'm like, I just think of all, the people I've been surrounded with, especially romantically, and all those girls, and just saying, hey, I don't think of you in a negative light. And all that does is it saves me the headache, and I don't have gray hairs yet. I don't fucking think. I hope not. But
hey, smudge don't judge. Smudge don't judge.
Yeah. If fry bread can rise, so can you.
Yeah. So you're just Tulalip tribe, right?
Yeah, Tulalip tribes, and then I got fancy words for white in there.
Yeah, I white too, brother.
Yeah. And that's another thing when people hate on white people. I'm like, I'm white too, dude.
But hey, at least there's some kind of culture there. I'm sure so my dad was adopted, so I don't know his side. I mean, I know he's Turtle Mountain, Ojibwe, and Chickasaw because he called his mom at one point, but he didn't really ask her much. So I know my mother's side, and I know that I'm Viking and French Canadian. So if I ever want to go to Europe, I can go check out the Vikings. I can go see stuff like that. It's not all bad to be white. There's advantages.
Yeah, I got Italian in me and stuff, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, Marcello.
Marcello. I was almost named Marcello for those guys who don't fucking know. My name was almost Marcello or Giovanni. Those would have been...
Giovanni kind of would have been dope. But
Giovanni Joseph, I got a cousin, Gianni.
Oh, but no, Dominick's just that's a stoic name.
Yeah.
That's a nice.
Dom.
Yeah. Dominator.
I'd be surprised. People be trying. I mean, I stopped getting butthurt about it. I used to get butthurt when people call me Dominick. I still kind of do. But, if you know me, just call me Dom. Don't, and I've heard some people oh, Dominick. I'm like, whoa. Okay, you either got to be, my girlfriend or the girl I'm talking to, or you gotta be my mom, my auntie, or my cousins to call me that. Yeah. Or my nana or my grandpa. Everyone else, I'm like, you just call me Dom. I don't care if you just met me.
Someone's knocking on the door.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's one of those kind of things. This guy Mike, getting up and answer the door. Who's got at the door? Trying to talk to myself here to kill a little bit of dead noise. It has been an hour and 9 minutes for those of you guys who are still listening. It is May 21st. Got a little bit left on this podcast, and I can't wait to show you guys and share this to Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram, all those good stuff. And I hope everyone's been enjoying the podcast. It's been a great thing that I've been able to share with you guys. And if you guys ever want to do this Skype thing, this is cool. So now, I know not everyone lives in Pullman, but if you want to be on the show and you have Skype, then we could do the show like that. So it's been just great, and I love having Mike on the show. It's been doing great things. And Mike, Are you back?
And
Are you back with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a funny story, bro. So the RA knocked on my door. The RA knocked on my door, right? And I'm 6'8", 6'9", whatever. So I'm 6'8".
Had to
no
flex
shoes,
it. Had to
shoes.
had to bring it up somehow.
So not flexing. This is a literal life problem. So here at the dorms, I got a duck to get through the doorways, bro. It sucks. It goes up to like right here on me.
Okay.
And I have no roommate in my room. I'm all by myself, right? But they're like, hey, you might get a roommate for summer school. And I was like, man, for real? But it's like, all right, well, what are my options? And they're like, well, since you can't fit on a single bed, we can get you a 7-foot bed. And I was like, all right, just get it in case I get a roommate. And she was just like, oh, well, your bed's here. And I'm like, for real? She's like, yeah, do you want it? And I'm like, well, I don't really need it right now. Like, am I getting a roommate? And she's like, well, probably not, but do you want it? And I'm like, I don't need it. I'm good. But, yeah, that was the reason why she knocked. So, long story short, society is not made for me right off the bat. I gotta freaking find the boot that fits.
That's your girl? Why did she offer me a 7-foot mattress?
Rhea the RA. Oh, man.
Dude, all right. To wrap this up, I got 2 good questions for you. We were talking about these before the podcast. We've hit, real deep, and let's get on a little lighter note here.
Yeah.
The most underrated movies of all time. You could pick. Let's just go 3. Let's go 3.
3. Well, all right. Can we do honorable mentions?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Do those last though.
Okay, so top 3 all-time underrated movies. This is tough, but let's see. The Green Mile with Tom Hanks and the late great Michael Clark Duncan. That's a great movie. And Braveheart. Do you think that's underrated?
No. I
will
would
leave that one off.
As underrated.
I'll leave that one off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt. I actually have it right here.
Okay.
Let me see. Where is it at? Here it is. Legends of the Fall. Bang bang.
Okay.
Great movie. It's about Montana life in the early 1900s. And it's hard to just put a finger on it, out of all the movies I've ever seen for the last slot, but as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and throw Walk the Line on there with Joaquin Phoenix. Okay. I'll throw that on there. But honorable mentions, I'll have to say Interstellar. Superbad's hilarious.
Yep, classic.
Classic one. Karate Kid's a great movie. Young Guns is
the first one, right?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. I wouldn't say underrated, but it's definitely a great movie.
Yeah. About kids movies, Space Jam. That one wasn't a hit in theaters. No one knew about that for a while until it made it to DVD, and that's one of the kids movies. Usually, like there's Inside Out. That kids movie. That's a good movie, dude.
It's a quality movie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then let me just ask you, what are your top 3 favorite kids movies? You could do Disney, Pixar.
All right. Top 3 favorite. Number 1, Brother Bear. That's my favorite.
Brother Bear, okay. 1.
The moose on there. Number 1. Number 2. Oh, man. I want to say Monsters, Inc., but I also want to say Toy Story.
Okay. So go Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc., yeah.
Okay.
You got what dog? He's like, I got smelly garbage and low tide.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, and then for the last slot, kids movies all time. Moana was good, but I don't know if I'd classify that. I like the older school ones.
Mm-hmm.
Cars.
Yeah. That's a really good one. Okay, my 3. I think I'm gonna go.
Underrated movies first.
Underrated too. Okay. My underrated movies, I don't know if they're necessarily underrated, but I bring them up and a lot of people go, what movie is that? Except for one of them. The first one I got is Coach Carter. It's a very underrated basketball movie, I believe.
Fire.
It has a lot of important lessons in it, and I believe some of Samuel L. Jackson's best work.
Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yeah, and then Social Network with Justin Timberlake, Jesse Eisenberg, and Andrew Garfield. Great movie about the story of Facebook and how it happened and the kind of the hidden things of greed. And my third one, I quoted it in the beginning of the movie, singing Electric Avenue. I got Pineapple Express on there. Seth Rogen, James Franco, Danny McBride put on a great movie, and I think it goes really unsaid sometimes. So those are my 3 underrated movies.
Take it to the next level.
Take it to the next level. And then top 3 kids movies, man. I gotta go Ratatouille. Monsters Inc. And Lilo and Stitch. I think I have to go with, dude. Lilo and Stitch was a good one, man.
What is it? Mahalo means family.
I don't even know.
Wait, no, Ohana.
Man,
Ohana means family.
Mohana.
No,
that's a great movie.
Ohana means family. Family means
Ohana.
Family means no one gets left behind.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and it's got a good soundtrack too. And all right, last question. We've been video gamers for a long time. We've had funny experiences where we've had you go to the pawn shop, get Madden, come over, return it, so your dad wouldn't know you bought it. We've had very, video game.
Hey, let's note, you were the only 18-year-old at the time, so you had to go in there and do it for me.
I know. I was the only one with the car, too, driving everyone around.
Oh, the days.
But, okay. Most overrated video game of all time.
Ooh.
Go.
Well, you could say, the new Call of Duties. Overrated, though. This is one that people are like, oh, this game's amazing, but it's really not that good when you play it. I would throw honorable mention GTA Online up there.
Okay.
That's a big time, I played it, but it's not something that I dedicated myself to that everyone loves. Man, most overrated game of all time. It's easier to do underrated because there's so many games I love, but all the ones that I don't like, I tend to forget.
Yeah. Oh, people are gonna hate on me for mine.
You can go first. Go first.
All right, my most overrated video game of all time is Ocarina of Time. That Zelda
Legends
Link
of Zelda
game. Yeah, the one on the Nintendo 64. I'm sorry, but it's you're walking around for endless of hours. You're not doing anything but cutting grass. You get a bow halfway through the I don't know, right off the bat, I think.
Pokemon shits on that game stylistically.
Yeah, dude. It's just
the same concept.
You're just running around and you're walking 80% of the game. I do not want to walk. It's just boring. I'm sorry, but I main Link, or I use Link in Super Smash Bros. But I'm sorry, but Ocarina of Time.
No,
you can
Zelda,
pass on
the
that.
Wind
I'll play
Waker,
fucking GoldenEye.
That's one of my all-time favorites.
Haven't played that one, so.
That's a GameCube game. You got to try it one day.
Yeah.
Overrated. Oh, shoot. I'm trying to think of. Oh, bro. I don't know. I was gonna say Minecraft, but that's only lately.
Nope.
I used to have some good times on Minecraft, so I can't say Minecraft.
Nope, you can't overrate that one. That's a great game. It's a solid game. I love that game. I wouldn't let you. See, I'm already getting defensive.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You're right. You're right about that. What's one that everyone plays that I don't like?
A lot of people played Halo.
I love Halo.
I love Halo.
Yeah.
I love it. Mario games are not overrated.
No.
God, I know all the gamers who are listening to this podcast. Oh, how are you not naming this?
Try being in our position right now, trying to think of all the games in the world off the top of our head. Okay, I got it.
Okay,
Flappy
here we go.
Bird.
Oh, trash game.
Dude,
there's people buying iPods that were
$1,000
with that thousands of dollars
with the app installed.
Shit. Idiots.
idiots.
Yeah, if you're that person, I'm sorry. I don't judge, but if you think Flappy Bird's a good game, I'm judging you.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm so happy I thought of that. Another
There's
one
billions of
I'm
games
gonna
out
say
there.
is Clash of Clans.
Yeah, well,
Clash Royale is better.
Dude, Clash of Clans is better. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you. No, I put too many sweat and tears, too much blood, sweat, and tears, and stress over Clash of Clans for me to say it's overrated.
League of
Bro,
Legends, World of Warcraft,
You know how stressful it is to 2-star someone when you have 5 people watching you? And you're just like, oh my god.
No, and you train up all these expensive troops, and then you just 2-star, and they're like, you're weak. They go in the chat and start putting emojis and just roasting you, and you're just like, oh.
Why'd you put that spell there? You're like, I don't know.
Why'd you train so many dragons?
You're like, dude, it's just an instant 3-star. Well, I don't know what you were thinking. You should have just put the balloons on the left side. It's for people who don't know, Clash of Clans is like, it's an iOS game on the iPhone, and you have these troops, and you got to basically break the person's base, and you got to use certain troops to do so, and it's harder than you think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I like to be. I'm only 20, right? So I like to be an adult, but that nerd in me comes out sometimes still. So.
Oh, my nerd comes out at 8:30 every night when we all play Fortnite. I'm a big Fortnite fan.
Love Fortnite.
Really love Fortnite.
I take brief hiatuses with the game when I just don't have time sometimes, but. That's the only game where it's free, cross-platform. You can always go on there and have a good time unless you're weak. People that are weak at the game aren't going to like it. But you have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to build.
At least just protect yourself.
Yeah.
Just put some walls around yourself, or at least build a wall when you're reviving someone.
It's just a common sense game. It's like you gotta use a lot of tactics, or else you're not going to win.
Yeah, dude. Well... it's been an hour and 21 minutes and 50 seconds. This has been episode 11 with Mike Leslie Jr. Mike, where can people find you? If they want to follow you, if they want to keep up with you, where's a good place to find you?
Well, my name's, Michael Leslie Jr., but only my teachers call me Michael, and people that don't really know me that well, I go by Mike or Mikey, but... Indian name is Ogima Gone Benesi or Nana Taints, Chief Thunderbird Man, Rays of the Sun. But those are my Ojibwe names. So you can find me on social media, Facebook, Mike Leslie Jr., Leslie, and Instagram is Mike.lj_. Twitter.
Yeah, dude, I'll tag you.
Yeah, Twitter, B_like Mike. So, yeah, I'm pretty active on Facebook and Instagram. Snapchat, that's the private down low. I mean, people are lucky to have that one. No. But I appreciate you guys listening, and I appreciate my guy Dom having me on the DJP. It's been a blast.
Yeah, man.
I'll come back on here someday again, and we'll chop it up like old friends that we are. And I hope everything's going great for you and whoever's listening. Thank you, OCM, for my Talela peeps out there. Miigwech, that's thank you in Ojibwe. But, yeah, I mean, all the best, brother.
Yeah, this has been a great episode. This has been episode 11, and I want to thank you guys, too. Personally, this has been a great episode. This is the first episode that we've had one on Skype, so Weekly Take could also be having some Skype guests as well. DJP is going to be filled with having, some more of these to come. If you guys ever want to be on the show, hit me up. And just make sure you follow my guy, Mike. And this has been a great episode. And thank you guys so much. Thank you for listening.